I knew it was going to be a great weekend of football when the Jets kicker did this on the opening kickoff, and when all of the other hosts on Fox had to let us know that they know Terry Bradshaw shouldn't be doing the show anymore.
I think if this kid ran 5 or 6 runs in a row, I think he'd commit suicide or something. They have to throw it.
Whoa, that's a little dark for this audience.
And that's what they call committing professional Harry Terry.
I think he'd commit suicide or something.
Now, I'm not sure what makes me more uncomfortable. That or Kirk Cousins after a win. I'm kidding. Kirk Cousins makes me feel more alive than ever. I can finally be who I am because of Kirk! You are my new spirit animal, Kirk. Do some high knees, Kirk. Make Russell cool, please. Stay tuned. It's NFL Week 9. Best, worst, players, moments, games, all of that shit here on That's Good Sports. Don't do a Terry Bradshaw. Do a subscribe here on this YouTube channel. Today's episode is sponsored by my friends SeatGeek. 28 million, that's how many times SeatGeek has been downloaded. It's the #1 ticketing app, so ask yourself, is it on your phone? If you need to get out of your house to go to a live event, there are more than 70,000 to choose from every single day on SeatGeek. I'm gonna be heading to a Denver Nuggets or Colorado Avalanche game soon. Whichever team proves to me that it's not going to crush my soul like a certain football team I love. The green dots on the app let you know when a ticket is a good deal. Plus, every ticket is backed by SeatGeek's buyer guarantee, and it's the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps. My code THATSGOOD will get you $20 off your first purchase, which you could use to see the reunited Blink-182, who may have been the sole reason the Avs won the cup. Link in the description. Go there, download the app, and think of me as your butt hits that seat, or you don't get the discount. Okay, best and worst. We're gonna start with best sigh of relief. Well, that's when I learned that there was not an active shooting situation at the Bengals game. My hardest hit? That goes to Rock Ya-Sin suplexing Marvin Jones. I don't know why that isn't a penalty, but I'm glad it's not. Hardest hit delivered by an offensive player goes to Cordarrelle Patterson, who had 2 touchdowns in his first game back from injury. My best streak? That's going to Daniel Carlson, who has nailed 41 consecutive field goals, putting him just 3 away from the all-time record. He's the only thing working for the Raiders, but was this even the best streak in this game? No, that might belong to this man who interrupted a punt and ran across the field in his underwear. Finally, a streaker without a message. Just a drunk guy wanting to get naked. Football's back. My most hypocritical? Well, that's going to the NFL referees for flagging DJ Moore for taking his helmet off at the end of the Panthers-Falcons game a week ago, but not Jalen Ramsey for doing the exact same thing in Tampa. At least Jalen Ramsey took full responsibility for the loss.
We have so many games where the defense will get a stop, and then we'll go to the sideline, and they'll be like, y'all stay locked in. Y'all stay locked in, so y'all don't have to go back out there again. Like, it shouldn't be like that. We got to have some dogs who are going to be like, close this out. We gonna close this motherfucker out, but.
Best QB? I called him Bustin' Fields 3 weeks ago. Now all he's doing is busting out long runs. Justin Fields became the only player in NFL history with 3+ passing touchdowns and over 140 rushing yards in the same game. Altogether, Fields had 178 rushing yards, the most in a regular season game, passing Mike Vick. Only Colin Kaepernick had more in that playoff win over the Packers a decade ago. Fields was one horrendous miss missed pass interference call away from, at the very least, tying this game against the Dolphins. And yes, I'm awarding the best QB for the first time ever to a losing performer. The highlight of the day was probably this incredible 62-yard rushing touchdown where Fields slashed through the entire Miami Dolphins defense on his way to the end zone. Fields was so effective on the ground that Mike McDaniel basically told him to cut it out on the sideline. Even stranger, the worst quarterback was one of his NFC North rivals. Worst QB? Aaron Rodgers. I did a whole video about it. He was comfortably the worst quarterback in the NFL, putting up just 9 points against the worst defense in the league and throwing, count them, 3 red zone interceptions. Rodgers' performance had Packers fans on Twitter legitimately asking for Jordan Love, and now has people wondering if he's just going to retire once this nightmare of a season is mercifully over. Even Lil Wayne tweeted that the Packers should have gotten rid of Aaron Rodgers before the season. At least Broncos fans don't have Lil Wayne in their mentions. Will Rodgers get benched for Jordan Love? Probably not. But our worst benching, well, that goes to, PJ Walker getting benched for Baker Mayfield. Walker was 3 for 10 for 9 yards and 2 interceptions and a passer rating of 0. If I didn't love and respect PJ Walker so damn much, I'd say that's the worst stat line I've ever seen by a QB. But since I love him, I will not say that when I watched the Panthers offense in the first half, I threw up in my mouth and sharted a little bit at the same time because that's how fucking sick it made me. So again, I'm not gonna say that. Best individual performance? Joe Mixon, 5 touchdowns. Holy Jesus, Siddhartha, Mary and Joseph, Abudas, Osiris, Jehovah, Aphrodite, fuck me with Apollo's dick, that's a lot of touchdowns. Mixon became the first Bengal to ever do that, and he's an atheist. I never thought I'd say this, but my toddler and Joe Mixon have something in common. No, she didn't knock out a woman in a fast food restaurant in college. She's a toddler. How would she get into a respectable college? She, like Joe, can easily count to 4 with her fingers. Mixon wasn't just a goal line vulture either. He also racked up over 150 yards on the ground and another 58 receiving. Mixon was the engine for maybe the best offense this week, making up for the loss of Jamar Chase. I sincerely have no idea how this team lost to the Browns last Monday night. Again, 4 of Mixon's touchdowns came on the ground. The Buccaneers, the Texans, the Colts, and the Packers don't have 4 rushing touchdowns on the season. Maybe that's why all of you guys suck. Best offense? Well, the Bengals were the highest scoring offense this week, but they were also playing the Panthers, so I'm giving this honor to the Miami Dolphins, whose wide receivers have proved completely unguardable. Tyreek Hill has put himself on pace for a 2,000-yard receiving season after 143 yards against the Bears, and I'm not just sure he won't do it. The Finns also plugged in new running back Jeffrey Wilson, who nearly averaged 6 yards per carry. Meanwhile, Tua has won every single game he's started and finished this year and should be a legit MVP candidate. Tua had 302 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, took 0 sacks, and the highest passer rating this week. Oh, and we had a Rip Van Ginkel sighting, who took a blocked punt the distance for the Dolphins. Here's the thing, credit the Bears for hanging in this one, but Miami couldn't convert 3 fourth down attempts, including this easy miss by Tua in the 4th. He hits this, and it's probably a perfect passer rating type of day. Worst offense / worst game? I'm gonna give it to the Colts, who were bad. Which is probably why Frank Reich got fired. But Colts-Pats was hard to watch. And it's hard to believe that the Colts and Patriots was once the best game of every season in the 2000s. Sam Ehlinger looked totally unequipped for a tough Patriots defense, as we thought he might. And New England's offense wasn't all that interesting either, amassing just a little over 200 yards. And look, the Panthers were a contender for worst offense, but Baker Mayfield saved them with a bunch of garbage time production. Indy, in their second week with Ehlinger, managed just 3 points, all while the Patriots defense pummeled Ehlinger, finishing the afternoon with a Joe Burrow. A playoff Joe Burrow. 9 sacks. Ellinger was the Colts' leading rusher with 39 yards. And looking back at what Matt Ryan was doing with this Colts offense makes me think he was sort of like a surgeon, being asked what he could do to save the patient. And Ryan's like, but you guys, you brought me to a cemetery. They're already fucking dead, man. Best defense? This goes to the New York Jets, who managed to pick off Josh Allen twice and hold the top 3 offense in the league to just 17 points in a huge upset victory. Sauce Gardner got his second pick and made the play on 4th down to end the game. Was it pass interference? Maybe. But if they're going to consistently not call this PI, I actually support it. That said, welcome to the Jets beat you because Sauce got to do PI whenever the hell he wanted, Club Buffalo. Now the Jets did sack Josh Allen 5 times in this game and held him to a passer rating of 46. Allen's play was covered up a bit by his ability to run and still do shit like this. But credit this Jets' tenacious defense for holding Allen to his lowest passer rating since week 4 of 2019 when he threw 3 picks against the Patriots. Best play, Taylor Heineke's deep ball to Curtis Samuel. Now normally I would not advise throwing into triple coverage unless you can get help from an NFL official. Heineke did that. Heineke is also affectionately called the poor man's Brett Favre. Upon hearing this, Brett Favre asked how he could steal money from this, quote, poor man. Unfortunately, it was not enough to stop the biggest threat to airline security, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. Worst play? Well, the Falcons defense recovers an Austin Eckler fumble to end a potential game-winning drive by the Chargers and promptly began a new one by fumbling it right back to the Chargers. Just let the official explain it.
By the offense, recovered by the defense, subsequently fumbled by the defense, and recovered by the offense.
This is what happens when a stoppable force meets a movable object. I guess this play was technically a positive for the Falcons because they pushed the Chargers back about 20 yards, but Justin Herbert had no trouble setting up Dicker the kicker, newly acquired, for the game winner. Best moment? Watching the Raiders blow a 17-point lead to the Jaguars and score 0 points in the second half to take one of the worst L's of the weekend. This also gets my worst finish award, shittiest coach award, whatever you want to pile on. Josh McDaniels' team has blown 17-point leads 3 times this season. They had 5 since 1960. A great day for the Jags and Travis Etienne, who continues to be the only good decision Urban Meyer made as an NFL head coach. Etienne had 2 rushing tugs. Worst moment? Thinking the Titans would win. Thinking the Titans would just continue to give the ball to Derrick Henry. Instead, the Chiefs tie the game at 17 with a little over 2 minutes left in the game. The 4th 17-17 game we had on Sunday became the 4th 20-17 final score when the Chiefs predictably won the coin toss and kicked a field goal in overtime. Honestly, it didn't matter who won that coin toss. The Titans offense couldn't have gone down the field and scored if they had 12 players on every play. The Titans didn't have a single reception by a wide receiver on Sunday night. It was like a classic Tim Tebow game, except for the part where they lost. I'd rather die by giving the ball to Derrick Henry every single play.
Ran 5 or 6 runs in a row. I think he'd commit suicide or something.
Best stat? Well, the Cincinnati Bengals had more points, 35, than the Panthers had yards, just 32 at halftime of Cincy's blowout victory. And if that wasn't bad enough, PJ Walker had more attempts, 10, than passing yards, just 9. Worst stat? The defending Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams have been outscored 71-10 in the 4th quarter this season. And this 4th quarter against the Bucs was the greatest collapse of all by giving Tom Brady a final shot at the end zone where he hit tight end Cade Otton, who was, and here's another worst stat, born during Tom Brady's senior year at Michigan. That's a 21-year age gap. Something Leonardo DiCaprio could get behind. Best game? Well, this was probably the Dolphins and Bears, but we have covered that, so give me Seahawks Cardinals. Geno Smith and Kyler Murray combined for just one more passing attempt than Patrick Mahomes with 69. Nice. Rookie running back Kenneth Walker had another 100-yard performance with 2 touchdowns. He's got 7 rushing touchdowns in the last 5 games. Both Geno and Kyler had one dumb play in this game, a pick 6 by Geno and a bad fumble by Kyler after a great run, but damn, Geno Smith is simply playing very, very good football. He may not be as flashy as Kyler, but he's a better QB. He still leads the NFL in completion percentage at a whopping 73.1. He, Tua, Lamar all currently have 15 passing touchdowns, tied for 4th most behind guys like Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow. But he and Tua have fewer picks than all of those guys. Boom! Thank you for watching the best and worst of NFL week number 9. The Frank Reich firing episode is already up, and the Aaron Rodgers episode I posted last night. Feel free to watch either one of those videos if you have really just nothing to do.